Okay, so moving on with groove. I've got playback and stutter effect. And now I'm going to start add some audio effects. And I'm going to start with some distortion because distortion is always fun. And there's some great objects for this. So I'm going to add what's called a degrade object. And degrade lets you resample, change the sampling rate, and change the number of bits, bit resolution. It's a bit crusher. So sample rate is a ratio. So 1 will give me the original sampling rate that the audio driver is running at. I'm running at 16 bits, so I'm going to start with that. And move it over here. I'm going to make 2. But I'm going to do this first. So I can change both of these. Sample rate ratio. And an integer for the bits. And because I'm going to do this to both of them, actually, I'm going to go ahead and make a second one. Put these in here. And I've set this up. So let's move that. And let's clean up the patch cords. Go in. And I kind of want to do that so they stay together. Right, so now instead of going directly to the output, we're going to run over here and back in. And we'll leave those patch cords for now. So if I start, it's going to sound exactly the same because I'm not doing anything to the sampling rate or the bit resolution at this point. Let's have the sampling rate. 22,050 is not going to be a big deal. But now if I go down to 11,000, 25, you start hearing some aliasing. Okay, now some significant aliasing. Go back up. What you really start to hear is stuff with a bit resolution. So I'm starting where I was at 16, and let's do it with guitar because that's always. Go ahead. Now I'm just going to start reducing it one by one. Actually, I'm going to jump to 8. Back to 12. So 12 is not so bad. This is actually the bit resolution of the Kai S900 sampler, which is a really popular MIDI sampler in the 90s, late 80s, 90s. A lot of people used. Go down to 8. And now you start to get some noise. And you're getting noise because when you reduce the bit resolution, your soft sounds can't be as accurately represented. And anytime you misrepresent the amplitude, you create noise. So it's getting the tails. You hear it in the quiet. Now if I keep going down, the noise floor is going to get higher and higher. 5 is pretty noisy. 4. Go back up to 6 for now. So you can hear that. It makes a nice bit of distortion. It's adding a lot of high frequencies. So that's not so good. And I'm going to do a little thing now. So Usually when you have a distortion unit like this, especially bit crusher, you want to filter the output before sending it on. So I'm going to do a little moving around here. So I can add a filter. I'm going to send the output a groove. And to send audio signals, I can't use the S. I have to spell out send and type the tilde. So I'm going to send groove right, or groove R, and groove left, or groove L. And then over here I can pick those up. So receive, tilde, groove L, and receive groove R. And now I have my two channels coming in. We'll want to add filtering. And I have a number of filter objects. I want a low-pass filter with resonant feedback. So there's a low-res object. And low-res wants cutoff and resonance. And it's always good to kind of check this out. Cutoff is usually going to be frequency in hertz. And I'll say 1,000 with a floating point, so I know that it's hertz. That also lets me send that input as floating point. And then resonance, I'm pretty sure it's going to be in a scale of 0 to 100, or 0 to 1, thinking in terms of percent. So I'm going to say 0.9 for now. Copy that for the other channel. And I think it's always good to check. So I'm going to hold down Option, click on Low Res, and I can see that it is using hertz and from 0 to 1 as resonance. So some filters are different in terms of the arguments. Again, it's one of those things that's a little funky. Now, output of this can go back, or in fact, I could just move this over here now and connect my speakers. And I should, at this point, get the same thing that I had before, but a little filtering. Okay, so want to change my cutoff frequency. If I want to do that, and I want to be able to change the resonance factor. Let's do that. Clean those up. Then do the same over here for resonance. Clean those up. Running in. So now I can play around with things a little bit. And bring this up a bit. So you can hear the resonance really makes a big factor. It's useful if you're dealing with a resonance argument to a filter. If it goes above 1, you're going to create, or gets to 1, you're creating feedback. So it's really important. I'm going to unlock, select this number, open up my inspector, and set the min max for this. So minimum value is 0 because I don't want it going negative, and that will produce feedback as well. Maximum, let's say 0.999. At least it's not going to be feedback. Let's say 998. And now close this. Come back out. Now it can't go. Even if I get to 1, it actually comes back down. Turn that down a bit. And I've got some control. Brings the noise back. Works particularly nice with the breathing. Because that soft tail of the breathing in and out really distorts and gets you a nice little rhythmic thing going. And a nice little rhythmic pattern. Going to stop at this point, and what I'll do with the next one, just show you a little bit of routing, and so you can turn on and off the effects. Set up that, but that's going to be another time. Probably going to get to that later over the weekend. That's it.